properties. Don't want to use that default device because that is the devil. Uh-oh. Oh, hold on. Are you ready? Alright. Oh, hey there. Yes, now it's working. Alright, everybody, it is 10:36. We're going to be started at 10:40 a.m. We're going to be starting at 10:40 a.m. Central Standard Time, or whatever kind of time it is. Whatever time you feel it is, it's that time again. Alright, guys, that's when we're going to be starting, so be excited for the first stream of 2019. That did not work out. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna go back there, okay? Okay, that's kind of embarrassing. Alright, let me pop into, oh, geez, I don't want to start recording. No! Okay, there you go, studio mode. Then I have to fix these. I hate this OBS program. It's so OBS in a program. Alright, Epicam. Unlock that sucker. Then highlight it. And it still doesn't allow me to frickin' change it. What the frick? What the frick? Oh, because I have to have it like that. I see. Epicam. Ooh, yes. I figured it out. Alright. Epicam right there. Boom. And then I need to, like, drastically unzoom in because that is inappropriate for what we're doing. Why am I doing this right now? This is not healthy. This is not healthy for the heart. Alright. And then Epicam right there. For some reason it's locked. I don't want it to be locked. I want it to be like that. And then what I want to do is to go to Discord and say to add everyone. I had to reinstall Windows. Oof. That's not fun. I need to reinstall my box also, honestly. Because I've been having some major issues with my box. Alright, add everyone. Did you hear knocking? I thought that I heard knocking for some odd reason. I don't know if I'm just paranoid or... I don't know. Promote your stream. Boom. There you go. And then go here. And then do it live now. Boom. And then go to Twitter. Not dashboard. Oh, I forgot to change my dashboard. No! What am I doing? I'm such a bad streamer. I don't want to add everyone on Twitter because that's kind of awkward. And then you gotta go here. And it's really awkward now because it's not a New Year's Eve stream. It is first stream of 2019. There you go. Update that information. And then we gotta get some peeps in here. Because that's just what you gotta do. It's just what you gotta do. Let me get drunk for mama in here. I already... right, Selfish Enigma. I know it's an early stream. It is our morning stream, RANDtek, you know. I don't stream this a lot anymore because I've just kind of fallen out of touch with, you know, waking my butt up and doing some butt stuff. Yeah, butt stuff. That's certainly not inappropriate. Alright then, let's move this thing over and then let's click this button right here. And then let's click this button right here. And Drummer Mama is coming, but she's not ready yet. Hello there. Hello. Welcome to RANDtek, the stream where we talk about tech. That is random, because I'm a very random person sometimes. And that's what you gotta talk about on RANDtek. Let's see, is there anyone out there in chat? I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Alright, hello, good morning, Selfish Enigma. I don't know if it's morning or eve. Actually, it's probably like if you add 6 hours to 10 a.m., that's 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, it's like 4:42 where you are right now. So it is not morning, but it is morning for us. Hello, Drum for Mama.
Hello.
So what do we need this for? Oh boy. This is a lot of... This is quite RANDtek-y, isn't it? She is building a dragon for her one-act play class.
I gotta go fix my hair.
Alright, fix your hair. She's building a dragon for her one-act play. Looks like there's some hot glue under the trunk here. Oh boy. I'm not fluent in dragon design. I do know how to build computers and do stuff like that, but not necessarily dragons or this creative stuff.
Well, you're just gonna have to engage your creative mind.
I went to sleep at like 9 a.m. after reinstalling Windows.
So, reinstalling Windows? ¿Por qué?
Yeah, why did you have to reinstall your box? I'm wondering.
Your box. I don't know why you call it that.
Because it's a computer and you call computers boxes because boxes are computers because they're boxes.
Cases.
Can you scoot over?
Cases. I can scoot over.
Alright.
How are you, Sweet Pea?
How are you doing? We had a scare on New Year's
we
Eve.
did.
Like a serious. It was. We were like, oh my gosh.
We had a hard time falling asleep.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, you're sorting it out.
Wait, am I even synced? I don't know. I was working and my dead butt left my network open and had detection of entry.
Oh. I see.
See, and
so you reinstalled the sucker. Yeah, that makes sense. Mine always happens when I go to images. Why do they make images so volatile? So, I don't get that.
Execute
Are you
JavaScript.
okay? That's my first question. Let's put the dragon aside and just talk about you for a second.
How is the health of the mind? Hello, Casper.
Hey, Cool Cat. How
nice
are
to see
you?
I remembered your name. I was like, I'm not going to call you Cool Cat.
Yeah. Is
like
it cold there? Is it cold there? We're cold, wet, rainy. We were going to go finish one last panel that we have to put up in the house, and it's wet outside, and we have to cut the lumber outside, and I don't think you want to cut lumber in rain.
We can jigsaw inside. Right?
Yeah, you gonna clean it up for me?
Yeah, I will.
Sawdust gets everywhere.
I have everything on external hard drives, which is encrypted, so you're good. That's good. Because...
So, I'm making a Chinese dragon. And I need suggestions.
You're making a Chinese dragon, is that racist?
Yeah, and I need suggestions. And of course, the body is going to be out of milk jugs. So I'm going to insert right here. Oh, our soup was delicious. My dad would have been proud of me. I was really pleased with it. Yeah. And you know, oysters are
And you just
fishy.
Messed up my mousing
oysters
area.
Are fishy. But
decoration.
But it's one of my dad's favorites, so we had to have it, and it was delicious. We might have some leftovers this morning.
Oh yeah.
Or this afternoon.
Well, not this morning. Like
yeah, this
I don't know
afternoon.
about eating oysters in the morning.
So I'm going to. I have to make a 6-foot Chinese dragon, and in the play that I'm doing, it has to be blue scales with a silver tail. So I'm putting blue horns all the way down the back of the dragon, and silver horns, and then silver spots on him, and then the tail will be silver with blue spots and blue horns. I don't know what else to do because Chinese dragons are normally gold embroidered with lightweight fabric and all of this stuff. And then of course we've got these that we salvaged from a broken
It was given
Halloween
to her by
costume.
her principal 2 years ago.
Yeah, my former principal. And so I've got eyes that light up that I thought would be kind of cute. And it's milk jugs, which I think is fairly traditional. But I need 3 people motorizing it, and I'm thinking about putting the stick here.
I don't know why you're putting so much effort into this. You're
Well,
gonna use
again,
it for 4
like
minutes.
2 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Or at the most 2 minutes. But this is such hard fabric to work with because it's rubber. Because it's sequins. These are all glued. I don't know how they're put on.
So is this a costume or decoration?
It's a costume.
Oh, it is. Oh, I said decoration. So prominent, stocky, like the stomach type?
Like this.
Uh-huh.
And then the tail is going to come, I'm hoping, like a fish. Or a snake at the end.
Read that.
Like I'm hoping.
And that's like with engineering.
Like a
simple.
And I have to have this like this.
I know.
So that they can with this here, so they can dance with it. And of course the dance.
Just have to.
It lasts 30 seconds. It's a battle. So there's this. The play is called. The one act is called.
The Boy Who Stole the Stars.
The Boy Who Stole the Stars, and it is.
It's a sad one. It's like really depressing.
Well, yeah, it's about a grandpa who ultimately passes from Alzheimer's, and the grandpa was a navigator, and told the story of the dragon that protected the stars right by the Milky Way. And so he said, if you could defeat the dragon, I don't know if this was a convoluted story that the grandfather was, because the play doesn't really make it clear, but he said, there's a dragon, and if you defeat the dragon, then nothing bad ever happens. Nobody ever dies, nothing, everybody lives forever, there's no illness, blah, blah, blah. So when the boy discovers that his grandfather is dying, he decides that he is going to go do battle with this dragon. And then the battle, we assume, but of course we have the suspended disbelief, but we assume that the battle is something that's all in the boy's mind. And so he does battle and he defeats the dragon. But the battle lasts a total of, because I can only have 30 seconds of any one song. So the battle lasts, well, I can put a couple of songs together. So I have like thunder, lightning, sound effect that's very percussion-y. And then the dragon is alive and moving for 30 seconds. And then we've got 30 more seconds where the boy actually takes an umbrella, which is his sword. He's using it. It's not an umbrella. It's not an umbrella. It's an umbrella.
Thank
but
you.
He's using. Thank you, sweet pea.
Thank you for the drink.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Oh, do I get it in the Starbucks mug?
Oh,
this is nice and fancy. Thank you so much.
Yes.
We're about to get a Keurig, which is going to really help our process of caffeine, because coffee is hard to make. And you have to make a whole pot and only drink 2 cups out of it, and then waste the rest. It's just horrible.
So I haven't even built the dang dragon, let alone choreographed with the sucker. And I've got to teach 3 junior high school female 7th graders how to
Hey,
not just this, but like flag twirl and all other kinds of. I know. I hate my job.
No, you love your job.
I do. I love my job, but I'm just
you
not.
love
my
it.
Creative brain is just. I have changed. Okay, so the first thing that I did was I bought that little tunnel that little babies crawl through, little children crawl through, but it's a 16-inch diameter, and my fabric was not going to lay correctly on that dragon. I was going to put their little bodies up through that and have them hold on to it like little hula hoops, I guess, little hula hoops. And then I thought, well, let's just buy a hula hoop. And then I thought, well, hula hoops are huge, and I don't want a huge dragon. I want a 12-inch diameter or less. 10-inch, 12-inch would be great, but 10-inch, So then I thought, okay. Then my husband said, well, you can make your own. You can get tubing, and then you can put something in the middle of the tubing, and you can, make your own size. So if you want that, but then if it's 12-inch, it's not going to their little bodies are going to be too big to fit inside the dragon, so you don't want a hula hoop. It's not going to. And if you only have 3 and you got a 6-foot dragon, what the heck, woman? So
just don't. You're overthinking it. You're worrying about it too much.
And this is traditional. Made out of bottles, I think, is traditional, and it's usually a segment that's about this long. And so I thought, okay. My husband said, "Well, what about milk jugs?" And I'm like, oh, "You're a genius." And he's like, "Well, yeah, I've always been a genius."
But just remember that it's a junior high 1-act play. It's not like a professional university.
It is, but we've never won. And this is my 4th year, so I should know what I'm doing.
Well, you just have a lot of competition. You have a lot of junior highs that spend a lot of time.
Yeah, we have some
this.
Kids. Do you have a plate over there?
Mm-hmm.
We have some kids that this is their legacy. You know, they've built.
I know.
They've built a legacy. So.
The tea bag is the wrong shape.
What?
How is it the wrong shape? How is that disgusting? Like
that I use my thumb to drain
lift it up so they can really see it, like really good. There. I'm getting used to these zoom ins because now that we have full HD, full HD 1080p.
Not little squares like this?
Come England, our tea bags are different shapes.
Oh.
And then Kukas agrees.
What? Europe is bass-ackwards. No, this is how we're used to doing it. It's just a little sachet. It's a little sachet. We used to have Lipton started making them in a pyramid shape. And I don't know, is it like a pyramid shape for that?
I like how
tea is
so
very
important.
Very important.
We heard that like they don't even drink tea like as much as coffee anymore. So coffee's completely taken over from Seattle, Washington.
We heard that from somebody. I can't remember.
I can't remember
anyway,
either.
Hey, cool cat.
So German tea bags are also different.
Okay, so your bags are different, like in pyramid shapes. This is not like tea. It's like herbal tea. This is chamomile.
Mm-hmm. Could I smell? I smell your tea. You smell my coffee.
It's chamomile and honey.
Oh wow, that smells good. I can't taste it though. It's so dang hot. Why do you make it so darn hot? Oh my gosh. More triangular. It sits on the cut better. Oh, I see. So us Americans
that makes sense.
It shows the average intelligence of an American, does it? Just kidding.
Oh, the tea that tastes like is made out of squares. Okay. What about herbal tea?
Herbal? What you talking about? Actually, I love Earl Grey.
Like
I love chamomile.
Flat 2D triangular, or triangular as in like a pyramid, 3-dimensional pyramid.
Salam, friends.
Salam.
I think that's a word. Well, good morning, afternoon, or evening, Muhammad.
Means both hello and goodbye.
I think so. I think so. Hold on. Salam. It means peace.
Salam. Peace.
Ah.
Okay, so cheap bags are in a circle, and the crappy ones are in squares.
So we have crappy ones. Because
I'm enjoying my chamomile tea. Yummy.
Oh boy.
Yummy.
Well,
okay, so what kind of suggestions you guys have? It's instead of just, hey, that sounds like a really hard project, good luck. Is that what you're going to say to me?
Their suggestions are to not overthink it.
So that's the body, and I think I have the body of the dragon figured out. Here's the dragon's head.
Which, this is some really cool engineering right here, you know. I see a bunch of hot glue here.
That doesn't work. That's not working.
She is building a dragon, a Chinese dragon for a junior high 1-act play.
Yeah, a Chinese
competition.
Dragon. Yeah. And then his eyeballs. Slide this sucker in here, and then his eyeballs on either side will sit right in here. Not with the wire here, but the eyeballs will sit right in there. And then when you turn it on,
which is right on the back here. We had to resolder this because one of these little leads.
His eyeballs falling out.
It's like the cheapest set of eyeballs ever because the solder is just like it has this tiny little wire. There. It's just so tiny.
I will have to rethink this. But then So then the eyeballs light up, and that's one of the things that I'm kind of really stoked about. You know. Oh, where's this? There. See that?
You see, if I was in your area, I could help, but I can't explain over the internet. I can't get my creative construct clear over the internet.
I get you.
That's
I know. It's just like, and you know what? I should be making students do this. That's what I should be doing. It's there.
Casper says, put some pee.
Well, yeah, and so far she just looks like that dumpy little dragon that was on Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. Did you guys ever see that Hanna-Barbera cartoon, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters?
Sigmund and the Sea Monsters.
Yeah, so that's what she looks like right now, is Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. But yeah, I still have a long ways to go on the head. But then I stopped working on the head too because I thought, do I want to make this foam? You know, like a pool noodle kind of foam. It'd be lighter weight. I might have an easier time of it, but I've got a lot of like felt, and I was going to put a rim of teeth on both the top and the bottom. She's going to have a little antennae sticking out, a mustache. She's going to have a mustache coming down, or he, I don't know. But the head needs to be red, the body needs to be blue, the tail needs to be silver, the wings need to be orange, the claws need to be crimson.
And I think that that'll be the easy part once you get all the mechanics down pat, because all of that is just, you know, working together to paint it and stuff like that. And I can really help you with that, but I'm not sure about all this complicated stuff.
And I really should, Casper, you're right. I really should be giving this to the kids to do. I mean, it's their project.
But the kids wouldn't get it right. That's the problem.
Well, and not only would they not get it,
they don't have
it right, and that's okay. If they don't get it right, they still get it. I mean, they're still doing it, and I get that. But you know, it's kind of like a science fair project where the parents do the project for the kids, and then. You know, that's what a one act is.
That's certainly happened before. That's what a one act is.
But you also have a limited amount of time, and because it's a one act play, it's an after school project, so it's not like inside my class that they can.
Well, you do have this SET period, like this Spartan and rich, blah blah blah.
Yeah, but I've got 5 more days in that class before the show, so my brain is going nuts.
And
anyway.
don't you have it in February or something?
No, it used to be in February, but February used to be.
Oh, it's because it's muted. Why would you do this? Oh, there you go. Now we can hear the music. I don't know why YouTube was muted there for a second. That doesn't make any sense.
Play the music.
Okay, so we have some My Chemical Romance in the house, and now we have some Blink 182. See, this is some nice Musaka Selfish Enigma. I know that like after the last stream, my YouTube suggested page for music was all full of rap and like this crab rave or whatever, and I was like, what the heck is this kind of music? But I think that this will be fun.
It's Enigma's kind of music.
That's just what you gotta listen to.
So there's my dilemma today. So that's what I've been really trying to work on since it's wet and rainy outside, and we can't really go work on the house.
How are you doing, Vattenpoos? The Bugorists will suffer from Latin uprising.
Will you pronounce that word again? That French word again?
Burgessi? The Bouges?
Come on, you're in history. Oh my gosh, we studied this in your history class.
The production belongs to the workers. There you go.
Okay, you're right.
Is this like feudalism or something? I don't know.
No, they're right. They're saying you're a teacher, you should know better. Don't do it yourself.
So why don't you just write on it, the B word will belong to the P word uprising. Bourgeois. There you go.
You remember that word now?
No.
Oh, you're gonna have to before you take your AP exam. That's for sure.
We've never studied it before.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
No,
yes, you have. England. It was a class of people. Selfish Enigma, explain it to him.
No. I know what I'm studying, and I know what this. Oh, we just got way out of sync.
We should not rejoice in our
Oh, there.
ignorance. We may all enjoy the fruits of our societal labors when we embrace the system of redistribution and
I recognize this word.
Yeah, I do.
Egalitarianism.
Wow, oh, what happened to us?
I think that our router is going cray cray right now. I don't know why. If you don't know, bourgeois, then you are gonna be a porn star.
Quality, yeah, quality.
Quality meaning.
That
yes.
was a lovely, yeah, and that's a nice way of saying it. I guess we have to.
You know what? I love the fancy words because fancy words kind of represent intelligence, and intelligence is something good to have.
Yeah.
You call me. Who's the? Oh, come on. I know why my phone. Oh, wait, hold on.
It's so.
What is going on with
me? He's embracing the social system. He's saying he's embracing the social system.
We are all comrades, and in the arms
comrades. Comrades. You need to read Animal Farm. We need to get some Orwell in you.
You're all comrades in the arms of comradeship.
In camaraderie or comradeship. We
all lack colors of skin and mind in the spirit of reduction. We may all be reborn.
Yeah, okay. He's
that was crazy.
Yeah, and oh good God. Yeah.
I've had enough of dystopian literature.
This is have we? And yeah, I know he's been dystopianed out, but I
like dystopian though. Like
but you've been Von.
I've had two Oh, come on! This is like it's controlled by Jack or something. I don't know.
Yeah, what's going on?
But I've only had The Lord of the Flies and Fahrenheit 451. Yeah. I haven't had 1984 Animal Farm or anything like that yet.
No, but we need to get a little Animal Farm in you.
We're gonna be reading The Great Gatsby though,
so that you can say all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. Then you can say
that's a good lesson.
Then you can say
it really applies to today, to be honest. For some reason, my camera just pooped out, so I guess I'm gonna switch to my Nightbot for a second while my camera unpoops itself. Thank you, all 6 viewers. This is pretty cool. It is not for
a man to gather in property. Property belongs not to a man, but to all laborers under the law. It does kind of sound like brainwashing, doesn't it? When you read it out loud. That's interesting. You know, I was watching a video. What the heck?
This is stupid. I think that... Oh, and now it worked.
Now we need to throw some AP words at us.
So are you like... I'm guessing you're like an English major or something.
There.
I'm not the English major kind of person. Like, English is cool and everything, but...
It does. You know, I was watching a YouTube video, where a young man went to a rally here in the U.S., and... had memorized one of Hitler's speeches and stood up in front of this crowd and gave very fervently this speech by Hitler, and they all wildly applauded because they didn't know where the speech had come from. But you know, he had a cutout and the document, Hitler's document, Hitler's speech,
just kidding. Actually, probably
on the side of the screen, and he was like word for word had it memorized, you know. And it was kind of terrifying that in America we were like, yay, yet when you find out that it was the words of, you know, one of, you know, a synonymous, you know, a name synonymous with evil, pure evil. Wow. I was like, what? You know, my heart was like, what? You know, we aren't necessarily thinkers anymore. We've lost this ability, I think, to make ourselves actually aware. We hear certain trigger words, and then that makes us, you know, emotionally one way or another. So
I hear you, compadre. No, comrade. Gosh, flipping it.
Compadre.
Isn't that the Spanish word?
No, it's comrade. Yeah.
Comrade. By restricting
compadre is the Spanish word.
What is wrong with me? Like I'm
By
not a dumb
restricting
I'm not a
tools of
dumb person.
education,
I'm
do
not
we
a
lose our verbal adequacy to be left linguistically orphaned in the face of capitalist free market machines? This right after Christmas, capitalist free market machines.
Mhm. These are some words
New
of
speaks Dutch. I know it. He needs to get a little Orwell in him, doesn't he? Yeah. That it does sound like brainwashing, doesn't it?
Mhm. But what was I gonna say?
And we have a senator
One of
that
one of
that is
Hitler's
now.
one of Hitler hold on, go on. One of Hitler's quotes is, when you tell a lie and you tell it enough and you just keep on telling that lie, eventually
If you tell a big enough lie to a large enough group of people
it'll
for a
become
long
truth.
enough period of time, it certainly becomes the truth.
And I think that's when Selfish Enigma said Hitler's speeches are really good. Not necessarily looking into
They
the
were
meaning,
passionate. They were impassioned.
and it gave the people what they want to hear.
And when you watch some of the footage of um, of Hitler speaking, it's like he becomes a completely different person when he begins to speak, because he's this very quiet, very timid, almost very shy man in private, and then in public he's just like something just overcomes him, and it's just wild to watch, like the and then to see the thousands, that are standing there listening to what it is that he has to say. It's well, yeah, if you look at the historical context of it, it does. And in fact, as a former speech teacher, we studied, that, and in correlation with the audience that you were speaking to. And I think that, the longer that idea um, continued, the harder it got for people, the general populace, to fathom. I know we do have, and I'm not political at all, and I know that you guys are really probably more knowledgeable of this than I am, definitely, because I just don't. I took a poli science class in college, and the teacher thought that I was the stupidest person in the room, and I probably was the stupidest person in the room when it came to political science. But I know that we in
How
New
is
York
bondage a bad word?
in New York we have a senator who recently won on a socialistic ticket, and she's very much has this idea of transforming. She wants to get rid of Homeland Security in America because she says that it is racist, and she wants to.
How is security racist? You're keeping people safe? And I don't think that, like, I know that our audience is, like, from England, so we're just talking about the American situation here, and it's kind of messed up, honestly. It's not just kind of messed up, it's really messed up. Racial profiling. So, like, if you say that, so just because you happen to be this color, I'm not going to allow you into my country, and I'm not going to allow you to have these same benefits, because that's not the right thing. But the right thing is to look at every single individual and say, well, what have they done? And if you can't prove that they have done it, if you don't have any data about that individual, then you shouldn't really be able to allow them into the country, because you don't know if they're a good person or not. You can't just believe that they seem like a good person. You have to prove that before you can say, yes, you can come into my country. But if you can prove that they're a good person, if they don't have a record, or if they don't have anything like that, then yeah, allow them into the country. If they do it correctly, that's wonderful. That's just making America better. But if you can't, then it's really hurting it for you and me, honestly. And it's hurting it for someone like
not just
Casper,
you and me, but
or
for those who live and survive and breathe and eat and work and function and live and try to make it better and become educated, and all of those resources, I think, become, I don't know, what would a socialist say?
and see, that's not the point of racial profiling, of the critics of it.
Yeah, the critics of it. Yeah, they say that it's and our voice is, I think, taken away. There's really nothing left for us to say. I can create a billion different analogies. I can say, as a school teacher, I want to know who every student is in my building so that I can keep all of my students safe. That's at my heart and at the soul of what my job is. I need to keep them safe, but I can't do that if I don't know that the people that are there are people who are supposed to be there. So in that way, am I profiling? Am I saying, let me check into the background of each student so that I can, or let me check into each student, maybe not the background, but to know each student and to know that you are, a part of our student body. And then is it something that I should just allow, an open door policy of without any real vetting? And I guess that's where it comes in. Vetting became a trigger word. Vetting became a word that I don't know. I just know that it didn't make much sense to us when our current president took office and decided that he was going to have a travel ban on seven certain countries that had already been in some way banned, but it just turned into then vetting turned into a really nasty word and a very racist
vetting
word.
needs to be done. It certainly needs to be done, but it needs to be done correctly. So if you have a racist border security
But
person and they
that's the problem. They say that it can't be. That a lot of individuals who are at the heart of the debate say that you can't vet without having some. You can't profile. And as again as both a theater teacher and as a speech teacher, we the word profiling becomes something that you do regularly to develop a character. You begin to understand what this character would, or how this character would behave based on the background that they have and based on the experiences that they have. So we, in essence, do a lot of profiling in my craft to create my craft, and in order to understand that and play the character, as Aristotle would wish for us to play the character, we need to profile. We need to in that way. But I guess I don't know. It's become a very nasty word. So you would say you can't fairly vet anybody. You just can't fairly do it. So
Mhm. So you're talking about Mr. Himmler and you're saying that you liked him,
that's well. That's
to be
what.
honest.
Well, that's what the quote that you were quoting came from Himmler. Big
Ah,
enough
I
lie,
see.
large enough group of people. Himmler was Hitler's propaganda. He was his propaganda. He was his speechwriter, but what did they call him? His propaganda minister, minister of
Posen
propaganda.
speech. Let's see. This is the Posen speech, but let's get out of that. Let's just see
I
if
don't
we
know.
can.
I don't know. I'm not a history teacher, so I don't
Mhm.
know. And I should know history. I should, because if I teach English, then I also teach history.
Mhm. Well, he killed a lot of innocent people. We know that. Um.
They were despicable, and
They.
it's not arguable. You're right. It was terrifying. It was a terrifying time. Um,
Mhm.
he was a leading member of the Nazi Party of Germany, and he wasn't stupid.
Oh
You're
yeah.
right. He wasn't
He
stupid,
was.
and that's yeah. If
There.
you're and we do study, and it's horrible. I guess I don't know how to say this in any logical or in any thinking way, but we do study that because he was certainly not stupid. He was certainly
Mhm.
not, by any means. It was, a propaganda. The essence of that whole concept of taking a fragile nation at a fragile state and I guess manipulating them into a into a people that were malleable, that could be shaped easily. And it is
Mhm.
terrifying. I know we watch Prime Television. What is it called?
I don't know.
Amazon Prime, I guess. Television, and there's a show on there about
Mm.
a Man in the High Tower, how America was taken over, and there's two factions. After World War II, there's the Nazi controlled faction of America, and then there's the Japanese controlled factions of America, and how each um, operate in certain ways. And I watched the first season of the show, and then I didn't like it after that. But it's an interesting concept how how it can, I guess, be altered in such a way, how our history can be altered in such a way. But
Here's our
what's going on
camera.
with the
I don't
camera?
know.
I mean, it was working so
But
beautifully.
saying that he is interesting from a psychological standpoint, I think that that's perfectly valid. You know, it really parallels with some other people today that are in the government, and I'm not naming any names because I don't really have any names to name, but just general, like in our senators and House and places like that.
Bernie Sanders, who ran on a Democratic Socialist ticket, and when I said, "Doesn't that frighten you?" to a lot of my seniors, a lot of my 18-year-olds who are, first-time voters, doesn't that scare you? Well, what do you mean? It's democratic socialism. It's not socialism.
Has
And
socialism ever
that I
worked?
think was that I think was a psychological, in the manner in which he ran, because of course, I want to have my college paid for. I'm 18 years old. I'm looking at 4 years of college. College is expensive. I want it paid for. But then who's gonna pay for it? And I asked them that. And at such a young and fragile state, all they can hear is, I want to legalize marijuana, and I want to make school free for you, and I want to make, I want to create this utopia, basically, is what Mr. Sanders was talking about. And it just frightened me. I couldn't get past the word socialist in the title of his
Because
political affiliation. I couldn't get past socialist.
when you say
So it
that
just
the
scared me.
money is for all, then it kind of, once that money runs out, and you've seen this with Venezuela, once that money runs out, you don't, it just kind of falls down and fails if you think about it.
Well, what is the how is it generated? I mean, how does a country function
Like Venezuela had the
just on the backs of its laborers, and then does it become then a dictatorship? I don't understand that. What's going on?
so
Ooh, that got really digitized, didn't it?
I know that with socialism, I think that the number one example is Venezuela.
Venin?
Venin.
Ven
I don't care
Vena
about how you think Venezuela.
Suela. Ooh, I don't like how everything is kind of digitizing on us.
Well, let's see. Because the problem with that is they had a bunch of petroleum money. They had money from their oil. But once that oil deposit ran out, once they couldn't sell that at the rate that they could, not only did the government lose money, but everyone else lost money. And once you don't have any money, you don't have food. And when you don't have food, you start killing all the farm animals. You kill all the zoo animals. You kill each other. And that's just how this country failed.
It's scary. I know we're looking at a government shutdown, and they're speculating now on YouTube about how once the we call it a chip card. No, we don't call it a chip card.
EBT.
An EBT card. Once the EBT card runs out, once the everybody who's receiving welfare in our country, once that EBT card has no funding behind it, what's going to happen? Because we have a mentality, I think now, that food comes from a supermarket, and um, when there is no food at the supermarket, then people have no clue where to go or what to do, and that does kind of worry us. Our president says as long as it takes, just expect it as long as it takes. But I do also think that he is compassionate enough. I know that that's not necessarily the news that we hear about him, but I think that he is compassionate enough that I don't think that we would starve. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that we would have to go start killing our cats and dogs and for meat. I hope not.
But it's still being run as a democracy, although it's not like the democracy that you study, although it's a lot more opinionated and a lot more
I
biased.
just I just
It's still a democracy, so you're not. We still have our money, and it's completely different than the money that somebody else that lives in Kansas has.
I just need to know where it comes from. I mean, where does the funding for some socialistic programs actually come from? I know where the funding for welfare comes from, and I know where the funding for Social Security comes from. I know that there's a pretty substantial portion of my paycheck that does not come to me, that goes somewhere else. and is used to pay for things
Because
like that.
the issue
But
is that the EBT cards are paid by the taxpayers, but when you have people that just come into the country expecting to get that benefit, when they get that benefit, they're just basically taking advantage of us. If you think about it, we're spending they're spending money on people that didn't really qualify
not enough jelly
to get
beans in
in.
the jar, huh?
Uh huh.
Not enough
So
jelly
the whole
beans.
world could come in and we could pay for the whole world, but that's just gonna ruin us,
There's
right?
not enough jelly beans. What happens when the jelly beans run out?
But the way that EBT system should work is when you have Americans that truly are American citizens and they had a job but something happened and they can't have that job anymore, or they're just unfortunate, or they try super hard, they just can't get there. That's when the EBT system comes and says, we're not going to let you starve. That's just ridiculous. We're going to help you out and we're going to make sure that you can get back on your feet. But if you just sit there and say, well, I can stay on EBT for the rest of my life, and the more kids that I have, the more benefits that I have, so that's better for me. that's just that's just ruining the system. That's taking advantage of it, and that's hurting us and everyone else, all the other taxpayers, especially the middle class, because that really hurts. Because we work super hard, we don't qualify for EBT, but we don't have a bunch of money just sitting there. Living off the government is stupid and just pathetic.
It's difficult to say that because that our welfare was created. I had two sisters who were married in the 60s. So I'm the youngest of my family, and my sisters are all in their 60s, almost their 70s now. But they were married in the late 60s, early 70s, and in that time in America, the culture was that a woman was the keeper of the home, and they were married. They started having a family. My sisters were never educated formally after that. After high school, never formally educated after that. And then both husbands became abusive, and my sisters ended up both of them getting a divorce, and they fell back onto our welfare system in order to supplement them. So they had a food stamps program, and then they had a program where
I don't know why this camera is messing up.
What did you do differently before?
Nothing. Hold on, let's see if this can. I just noticed that it was out of sync, so it's hard. You can go on now that we don't have you.
Well, there was this amount of time that both of my sisters were on the welfare system, a very limited amount of time, and I think after 2 years, or I think after even less than 2 years, then all of that ended. Within that period of time, they were given an opportunity. The government gave them an opportunity to educate themselves, and both of them became LPNs, nurses, and now licensed practical nurses, and now both of them are registered nurses. And well, one is retired now, but became registered nurses. But that's, I think, how a system like that actually makes sense. Like when I'm completely down on my luck, I've fallen on incredible hardship. That there's a parachute there, and that parachute only lasts until your feet are back on the ground, and then after that, there's no parachute. But I know that there were so many loopholes. I went to school with people who said, I'm gonna
get pregnant,
stop,
have a baby.
I'm gonna stop.
I'm gonna stop working so I can get this medicine or something.
They were hairdressers, but yeah, I have to get X, Y, and Z, so I'm going to quit this, and this, and then I'll get back on welfare, and the government will pay for my 4 years of college, and then I'll become a blah blah blah, because that's what I want. And they were very manipulative of the system, and I think that the system was such a it was capable of being sponged off of like that, and I think that really kind of ruined it for everybody. There was a really bright idea, and then it just became
And correct me if I'm
amounts.
wrong, but living off of it, just saying I'm gonna spend the rest of my life just being lazy, sitting on my butt and collecting these benefits, isn't that kind of how socialism would work? Because
Well, that's what I was asking, and
we're
I don't
paying for
know. I
them.
was asking Casper mostly
Hey,
because
good
I know that
praxis.
he's. I was asking Casper mostly because I know that he's interested in political science,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't. I'm just too blonde.
I don't.
I
I don't
think to
like
understand
politics.
political science. So that's why I was asking. I mean, how does that kind of program fund itself, or if it does fund itself? I mean, how does it function? Because it is so appealing to, especially the younger mindset. It's so appealing to think that I don't have to, that there's nothing that I really need to contribute, but everything just comes to me. But what is it that I need to contribute? I just don't get that.
It's the EBT system in America.
Socialism. I was talking about socialism, Casper. I was just wondering how it funds it. If it funds itself, I mean, what happens when I where does that, which makes it operate, which is obviously the bottom dollar, the dollar amount, where does that come from? I mean, what is the resource that it comes from? And we were talking about the American welfare system there for a brief period of time. Well,
Theocratical socialism or
does
the failed
does
socialism?
theoretical socialism work, or is it always failed socialism? Is it always a Venezuela, the model of Venezuela? Is it always that, or is it? I guess that's if you buy into the idea that Venezuela has failed. I don't know. So does social?
No, they're failed. I'm pretty sure that they failed.
I'm pretty sure they failed.
I'm pretty
too,
sure
but
that if you don't have food, if you have to go out and kill a zebra just to eat it, and you have to fight for water and you have to stand in line for
toilet paper
they're failed.
becomes
Okay.
a certain commodity. But
Socialism failed in their
does
country.
socialism ever work? I guess that was my question.
Well,
would it ever work?
Have you seen an example?
Hey, JC.
What's a difference between a
I
Boy
don't want to
Scout and a
answer
Jew?
that question.
Oh gosh, the Boy Scout comes from the back of the camp.
That's sad. That was a very dark time, I think, in our history. I'm hoping.
Dark.
I'm hoping it doesn't repeat itself. I'm hoping that it isn't repeating itself. I'm sure that there's places around our globe that still emulate that, but I'm a scene. No, we are not.
No.
No, we are not.
No,
No,
selfish
Enigma.
Enigma.
No, we are not.
No.
That's not gonna happen. I'm asking about socialism, not about Judaism.
Judaism. Judaism.
And they're not even talking about Judaism.
They're just making fun of it. They're just poking sticks at
poking
it.
Sticks.
But
sharp sticks.
It's all in the sense of humor. I know it's all in the sense of comedy. So you can't really.
Your father and I were just talking about this last night. I think we've lost our sense of humor. I don't think that we can poke fun at people anymore.
If you have my sense of humor, then you've lost it.
Well, I can't. I don't think that you can in the sense of
because
camaraderie.
You're always
hey,
gonna,
let's just
you're always
joke
gonna
around,
offend
Mr.
someone.
Yeah, we're always gonna offend somebody.
Although it's a brutal joke, I don't stand by it. Sincerely, don't agree with it, and definitely don't hope it reoccur.
Good, thank you, JC.
Exactly.
I appreciate
and that's
that.
what we are just.
What do you think about my comment? Do you think that we can joke around with people anymore, or do you think that people just become so sensitive and so triggered that you can't even make a joke anymore?
And we weren't triggered at all.
Well, we were listening to some. We were watching some renovation show, and some girl who does she doesn't do like the labor, she does like the design, but she said something about male dominated, blah blah blah, something like that. And my husband was like, I don't think our world is male dominated anymore. I think that men have stood by this idea of a matriarchal a need for matriarchal something for a long time, and I wonder that, I said, we commented on this idea that was she just joking? Was it a joke? And then he's like, well, it wasn't a very pleasant joke if it was a joke. And then
this isn't a joke right here, apparently. It's funny how sad it is, and it's funny how horrible it is, and it's funny how this is just. If I didn't know you, selfish Enigma, that'd be a kickable offense right there. Oh boy.
And that it's not just It that makes me sad. And it wasn't just, I mean,
We need more people like you. You understand the joke. You're open-minded, and even though it's a joke, it's to a certain extent comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, and then to a certain extent it's not acceptable, but that was my question is, do people just shut down immediately and say that's not acceptable? Do they just and then is it a way of saying, that was a really horrible time, let's not let that repeat itself, or is it an exploration of where it is repeating itself currently in the world, if it is? Yeah, and I think it is.
And I think that another thing to argue is over the internet, it's different because you can hardly hear the tone of someone's voice when they're telling a joke.
Well, that's how we communicate.
Like,
we don't communicate face to face.
Let me read your joke, JC, in two different ways. What's the difference between a Boy Scout and a Jew? The Boy Scout comes from the back of the camp.
Comes back from camp.
Okay, comes back from camp. Or, what's the difference between a Boy Scout and a Jew? The Boy Scout comes
back from camp.
The Boy Scout comes back.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference because over the internet you can't really sense that. You can sense it because it's in a joke format, and that's how we knew that there was a joke. But
well, yeah. What's the difference?
It's a lot harder over the internet.
Man walks into a bar. Yeah, yeah. We get that. But then, a girl makes a comment on a show about a male-dominated world. You don't need a man to blah blah blah, and I'm sorry, but there are lots of things that I need for my husband to do. That not that I couldn't with some practice be capable of doing perhaps, but he's just better at it than I am. Just simply better at it than I am. Maybe that's because he's a man. Perhaps it is. He's got a lot more upper body strength because you know what?
That's one.
Yeah, and testosterone has given him that upper body strength. He has a different mindset than I do because of the experiences and the skill set that he has built in. He's just more capable of those things. And he was talking about our phone plan the other night, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know anything about that. You deal with it. You make those decisions, and I will just trust that you're going to make the best decision for us. I don't need to be involved in certain things like that. And there are tasks that he does when we go down to renovate this trailer that we're renovating for my dad.
And that's
my husband does certain skills that I don't do, and I do other things. And you might call them stereotypically female things, but there are other things that I am much better at than he is better at. Asking him about the mechanics of the dragon that I'm building, he's got it. He's got it down pat. Hey, let's use a milk jug. I'm like, you're a genius. He's like, yeah, I have always been a genius.
Why don't we read chat for a little bit? We don't know for certain, but theoretical socialism builds on a certain ideal that is not really sustainable in our capital-focused society. Now, with that said, if there is a way to eliminate free market economies from the globe, a kind of simulated real socialism can exist where the basis is labor and not resources on monetary gain. This, again, does not work with
in a society where one country has a social or free market system, because then the wealth will be driven by individuals, then I'm always trying to keep up with the Joneses, and the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. Yeah, I think we agree with that. But can we keep, I teach with a girl who was raised in Taiwan, with a woman who was raised in Taiwan, and she said I wasn't smart enough to enter into X, Y, or Z college, so then I had to become a Y instead of a Z. I couldn't necessarily do this. So people are getting very sensitive. In my opinion, we should take these precedents. We should think about it. Yeah, definitely.
And what you're saying is,
let's not make this happen again.
Why did the Holocaust
occur?
Why did the Holocaust occur? Well, let's analyze this. Let's look at the reading, and let's make sure that this does not happen again.
And I wonder if it was a perfect storm of events that made that happen.
And that's exactly why you need to look back on history. That's the only reason why you have history. Without that, there's no purpose to really say.
Now, see, Enigma, that was a funny joke. I giggled. Everybody left him hanging.
Oh, boy.
Funny joke.
How about this joke? What did the Boston Marathon bombers do that Hitler couldn't? Ended a race. I know that Hitler was trying to end a race.
No, I like the last one.
But
sorry,
the bombers
I can laugh
really.
about that. That I can laugh at, and I do agree with JC. I do think that we have to, who was it? Who was it that said that lest history repeats itself? Who made some comment about history repeating itself? If we don't understand our history, then we are doomed to repeat it. I can't remember who said that, but
Let me look it up. It's probably like
doomed to repeat history.
If we
don't learn from our history, then we're doomed to repeat it.
If we don't learn from the past, we are doomed to repeat it. The quote is most likely due to the writer and philosopher George
Santa Anna.
Santa Anna. That's a weird spelling of Santa Anna.
Really? I thought it was an American president who said that, or Winston Churchill. I don't know. Somebody like that.
That's what I was thinking.
That's
Churchill.
I was thinking.
I don't know why.
It was from World War II. But and it was specifically about
okay, we're not talking about this today, okay? We're not talking about flat earth.
Flat earth theory.
But we will talk about this a little bit more, because I think that this is interesting.
Fettuccine.
And it's really interesting from Casper's point of view because, in our eyes, socialism is it's something to be avoided, but in his eyes, it's something that you really got to analyze and look at and say, well, let's look at the scenario. And that's how a political scientist should really think. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's an interesting perspective.
The idea of free market society, mm-hmm. though, has, I mean, when you studied free market societies in the ninth grade, you determined what about free market societies?
No, they're the best.
That they were the best. That they were what made everything function, grow, change, mm-hmm. create innovation, make things better, create progress. And so if we have to say we are all equal, it's a very Orwellian, I think, concept. We are all equal. Let's make this farm function, and each man has his best job. So we'll let what you doing?
I'm trying to cover my face with my coffee cup. Yes! Cheers!
That is my job.
Because I was doing this. Cheers!
Oh. You have to show the... We have to show our free enterprise system.
I don't know
right
why
here.
Starbucks made it like that. They should have had it on both sides of the mug.
There's our free enterprise system right there.
Yes.
I suppose most people drink left-handedly.
No job, no fun. I'm into scholar. Job, no fun, no life. Being a scholar, I think, would be a fun job. Honestly, it brings back the school days.
Just like being a philosopher. Mm-hmm. What does the philosopher do? I philosophize. On what? How do you make your income? But yeah, you're right. I guess we'd have to get rid of a free market enterprise if socialism were going to work. So.
Are you guys talking Latin here? That seems like Latin to me. Hold on.
No, I don't think it's Latin.
Well, let's see.
I think it's something.
Oh, they updated Google Translate. Look at that.
Touching.
Stock bowl. Translate from Russian. It's Russian.
No, I don't think it's Russian. Is it Russian?
Hold on. Oh, jeez, this Nightbot is so loud. Hold on.
What do Israelites speak? Hebrew? Maybe it's Hebrew.
Someone who doesn't believe climate change is real don't deserve anyone's respect. For this reason, I don't agree with Trump being president.
Really? Okay.
Well, talking about climate change, it is changing. Right? It is.
Okay,
the climate is always changing.
When I was a young girl.
We're not saying if it's getting hotter or colder, we're just saying that it's changing.
It wasn't called climate change. When I was growing up, it wasn't called climate change. It was called global warming. And now people say the president is crazy, our president is crazy, because if he can't look out the window and see that the climate is changing, then he's crazy. But
propaganda.
I believe that because I heard so many years of my life that about global warming, and now we're in the midst of catastrophic environmental and climate changes, that, yeah, you'd be crazy not to look out the window and say that it's changing, but it's not changing the way that they told us it was going to change, the way that they
And I think that also varies
emulated. And then,
among location.
yeah, and then I also
And
think
it
that
varies among time also, because like in New York it was like 50 degrees and it was the same place where it was like way down south for New Year's, and it's like, what the heck?
right.
But then it's snowing all over the place where it normally doesn't snow.
Yeah,
and
it's not supposed to snow here, but why is it snowing here? Why is it as cold here as it is in New York right now? Why is that? Our climate, if we're supposed to be as close to the equator and it's supposed to be climatically different here, and certain crops are supposed to grow here that shouldn't grow anywhere else, etc., then what exactly is that model of what's happening? And I don't think it's so much that I disagree with those scholars who say that the climate is changing. I just disagree with why they say it is. The reasons that they give. And they might say, it's man-made or it's environmental or it's. But then I ask, during the French Revolution, what prompted the little ice age then? Was it industry? I mean, was it because our industry is completely different than it was in 18 whatever? And then what actually causes it? And I want to know scientifically what the truth is, and I don't want any one scientist who might have a different philosophy be muted. I need to hear all of that information. I need to be able to check resources from a variety
and we need valid sources
resources.
also.
Yeah, valid resources from a variety of resources.
We need people that are certified, maybe former scientists or former people that studied things like this.
But from what I've heard, those individual scientists are being muted. They're being laughed at and ridiculed and things that
if you believe something, if you're a scientist and you have a degree and you're using real factual data with real accurate machines, and you're being muted because you're
looking historically,
I don't agree with global warming, let's say.
And you're looking historically at certain records and now you're being muted, then I want to know.
It's a Shido cam right
here. It's not global warming, and it's not smog or those specific changes that are occurring. Is it a process that happens that based on the rotational whatever that we do these bits and periods of warming, cooling, and that's just a natural process of the earth. I don't know if we've been historically aware long enough to understand what those particular changes are. I mean,
and it's hard to say that for every place also. It's just really, and it's really hard. You have to look at it in a large scale. You can't just say, well, last year it was 50 degrees at this time, and this year it's 49 degrees at this time. So that's some pretty darn big change.
There you go.
You have to
it's
say
changing.
in 1900 it was 65 degrees at this time, and in 1750 it was 35 degrees at this time. Like, yeah, that's some
major changes. And that's what I wonder, and I'm not saying that the president is crazy for making all of these changes with aluminum and with petroleum and with all of these environmental standards that President Obama had in place that he that he what's that term called? Where he erases them. I don't know what the term is called now.
So Panda Propaganda, you went to TwitchCon 2018.
TwitchCon.
How was that? I've heard some pretty sick things about TwitchCon. I think that it's a pretty fun event. I don't know, what was your opinion about it? Was it yay or was it nay? I know that I didn't watch, none of my streamers that I watched, they unfortunately were unable to make it to TwitchCon, so I honestly want to hear. I want to hear what it was like. So Mr. Muhammad called Mr. a dang Jew a Zionist, and he says, indeed.
Held that message.
Huh?
Held that message.
Hold it. You want to allow it or you want to deny it?
No.
Deny it.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I mean, yeah, okay. So how was TwitchCon for you? That's what it was.
I
And I get you.
I can
get
see
I
you
understand. For
had
you,
some fun with the
it
Twitch
was a fun
person
time. Yeah, it was
and
a
did
fun
something
time.
that Enigma likes to do. I'm sorry, man. I have to block that. I just don't want that in our VOD to stay
Boy,
here.
I tell you, how did we become so governmental? We're talking about things that I don't even understand. I'm not privy of, but
We just we don't keep up with this stuff.
All.
We don't really do a
Yeah,
lot of
just
research
don't.
into it.
I just I wonder. And I think that we were right in saying that history is bound to repeat itself.
Mhm.
I do. I think that.
Does your mom control your channel? Not all the time. I usually don't even really show her the chat like when it gets bad a lot of the time. But I just wanted to have her have an input in that choice because and no offense to you that I blocked it. No offense to that at all. I just want to make sure that because that is breaking my rules. So you're fine. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Okay. Okay. Your mom looks great, by the way. How to get out of any situation? Go to the teacher and say, "Oh, you look so great today.
That's right.
Here's
That's
some coffee. I forgot my
that's
homework."
How you get out of every situation. I forgot my homework, but hey, you look fantastic today. Thanks. I appreciate that. I do. I appreciate that sincerely. I really do.
Panda is the player.
Player.
I can see that. I can see that all so well. Well, guys, we got into some political science today, didn't we? I'm not even gonna call it politics. I'm gonna call it political science, just like Mr. Casper studies, because politics are something that is dividing nowadays, and there's a lot of misinformation that goes around, and there's a lot of information, but they're actually opinions. How old is my sister? She is Nan. But my mother, she's 37.
You're cute.
She is 37. She just turned 37 yesterday. Okay? Alright. Do you like that?
37.
You like that? Okay. Please don't do this to yourself. Study something useful.
Aww.
is the science of politics like, oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, I cannot stand this anymore.
Useful. No, I'm not gonna say that.
You're intruding my mousing area, drum for mama.
I'm sorry.
You can't do this to my mousing area. Oh boy.
There's no way she's 37. Aw, you're sweet.
She doesn't look a day over 27.
You're very sweet.
Oh boy. Well, guys, do you have any other topics that... I know it's RANDtek.
It's cold here today. That's all that I can say about global warming. Jeez, it's cold here today.
Mm-hmm.
There, we've talked about the weather.
tomorrow it'll be hot.
And tomorrow it will be.
Which is weird. Like, why does it... We always have these cold fronts. I love cold fronts. I love the cold weather. Like, I went to Iowa in the winter last year, and I loved playing in the snow.
Yeah.
How old am I? I am 15 años. Tengo 15 años. Selfish Enigma will understand that. Anyone else hablo español in our chat?
They all do.
I know.
We're the only ones who don't.
Español is like it's a really
and I
common
think that
language.
Casper was right, that we are so capable of speaking English and having everybody understand it that we don't have to, we're lazy, we don't have to study any other language.
Mm-hmm.
You speak English? You know, that's the first thing. Hablas 15 años. Do you speak English? We can say that, you know. We can struggle to try to speak it, and then we can say, do you speak English? And they'll say, yes, I do speak some broken English. And we're like, thank goodness.
Well, dog man, I have never ever wanted to do that, but I have heard that that in China they do that kind of thing, which is pretty weird and not so nice. I love my dogs though, so I probably won't be visiting Guilin, Guangzhou, China, unfortunately, to do that. But no judging. I guess I don't know. My watch is telling me to stand. Okay. So I gotta do the stand. Is it time
to end our stream?
It's not time to. Well, it's been an hour and 15 minutes. So you know. It's 11:50 right now.
My dog.
Yeah, I don't wanna.
My dog, but
I don't. And the festival spans about 10 days with 1,500 dogs. Oh my gosh. That's horrible. That's just horrible. I even have a dog from China. She's a Shih Tzu. Shih Tzu. That's what we call her.
She's my little shit.
She's a little shiz. I did it. I stood.
Yay.
My watch is proud of me.
We're not from New York, but it's as cold as New York right now.
Mm-hmm. We are from the States of United. I guess we're united. Actually, we're not as united anymore, are we?
Well, especially in California, we're not.
Them Californians, I wish that they would just float off.
No, we're not going to say that. We're not going to say we wish they'd float away.
You can't say killing dogs is horrible when you eat cows. And that's the thing, you know, it changes. It changes with culture.
But dogs weren't raised as food.
I guess where we come from,
were they raised as food?
In China, they probably were. Who knows?
Were they?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But it's a difference in our culture, but in like Chinese culture or maybe your culture, I don't know. There might not be a difference. So I can see where you're coming from there, Panda Propaganda. So let's see. Oi, lads, said Real Storman.
Oi.
Well, oi to you too,
Oi.
Mr. Real Storman. Oh boy.
Storman Norman. Who was that?
Y'all from Wisconsin or Minnesota?
Oh, you are so good. No, we're not from Wisconsin and we're not from Minnesota, but we were originally from Iowa.
Uh-huh.
So we're Midwestern. Did you hear that in our accent? You got a good ear, man. You got a good ear.
Got a good ear, man. I don't even know how to do a Midwestern. What would you classify my accent as? It's whiny, isn't it?
It's whiny.
I don't like my voice. I don't like it. It's annoying.
You've got a teenager's voice.
No, I don't.
You're getting there. What's that? Just remember.
Age is just a number.
I don't know what this mouth.
You thought you smelled a Midwestern accent.
I thought I smelled one. Yep, that's me.
This smells good. This smells like a Seattle, Washington accent.
That's me. But he did get to go visit last year under a sad pretense, but he did get to go visit last year.
Because my grandpa and her dad died on New Year's Day, so we just celebrated the anniversary of his death. If you think about it like that, that's pretty sad, isn't it?
That's very sad.
You know what? We celebrated the New Year
and
we celebrated his life. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Yesterday I celebrated my father's life.
Because the next bus that goes from Yulin only runs like once a day, and you have to buy another ticket. It's another $22.
Are you guys seriously thinking about going to this dog festival?
Whatever floats your boat. Just my dogs are off limits because I love my dogs. Okay. In some cultures, death is celebrated.
Yeah. And that's what I did. I didn't celebrate his dying. I celebrated, or his, I'm not like ancestral or anything like, I'm not praying to my dad to do good things for me.
We're happy for Grandpa's long life, and we're happy for the good things that he did on this planet, and the impact that he had on you and your sisters and me.
I celebrated the impact that he had on me, so.
But from there, it goes
straight to Yulin. Soon enough, you'll be eating some dog. 8 available hotels. I'm checking online. You know, I had a nephew
I think
served.
That you're a troll, but guess what? It's fine.
I had a nephew who served, and his wife said that the difference in pronunciation when he was in South Korea, and the difference in pronunciation between beef and dog was it beef, but some meat that she would be culturally acclimated to eating versus something that she would not be culturally acclimated to eating was very close. Maybe it was not dog but rat instead. But anyway, I don't know. I guess I guess you could raise a rat just as much as what we raise rabbits. In that same sense, I guess they would breed just as quickly.
Well, I guess if you're interested in that kind of stuff, they got all the sauces you can imagine. So if you want to eat your dog, go to Yulin.
And then it's I guess it's just as geez Louise, what's happening to us?
It was all pixelated there.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying when you look at your eyeball stuck in the middle of your forehead.
One time your cat took a pee on you while you were sleeping. That's nice, isn't it?
Oh man,
it's just so nice.
Really?
You know what our dogs have done?
You very much.
When my dog was a puppy, he ate all their shoes.
Yeah, he did.
And
only
he
one,
didn't eat
one of
anything
each
else,
pair. So I had to get rid of practically all of my shoes because one was ruined and one was not. And you can't wear one shoe with another shoe. So
it's $50 a night to stay in that hotel. That's just too much, man.
oh,
Go with free complimentary breakfast.
I wonder what they'd serve for breakfast.
Yeah, I wonder. Probably chicken. They're gonna serve chicken there. I've heard about that whole eating dog thing, but I've never thought about it. It's always been a joke in our household.
You know, my animals.
My dad always says when our dogs are misbehaving, we're gonna eat you tonight. You look some mighty fine stew.
Yeah, but our dogs are treated like royalty.
They are. That's why they're so chubby. Yeah. That cat must have gotten one heck of a beating.
Well, I don't know. I don't think that any
maybe
animal,
oh my gosh, I can't believe you, Mr. Cat. You're such a stupid.
Animals need to be trained, scolded, but I don't think that they need to get a whopping.
Boom, boom.
Yeah,
boom,
I don't think they need to get a whopping. I don't know. But I guess I live in an area that culturally accepts cockfighting and dog fighting.
What
and
fighting?
Raise animals for the purpose of gambling, using their, fight to the death instinct. That's kind of sad. So anyway.
Panda propaganda.
Oh, Dogman, keep us updated, man. Keep us updated. That's outstanding. Yeah, outstanding. What's the weather like in
Thank you for the follow, I guess.
In Yulin, Linjing. How do you pronounce a J in Chinese?
I guess if you go to that festival, although I'm not that interested, the sick part of me is a bit interested. Just tell us how they taste. No more details, just how do they taste? It is very good, thank you. You guys are great. Yeah, because we didn't ban you, that's why. I bet everyone else is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you, but we're like,
the weather is good there.
Keep an open mind. Keep an open
mind.
So,
you say that they'll only double charge you if you're white? Really? Huh.
I guess it's China, so who knows? No, Dogman is cool. Yeah, he's not doing anything bad, that's the thing.
It's kind of, yeah, it's morbid humor, but it's kind of funny.
I don't think it's not humor though.
It's not humor? I think he's being really sarcastic. Okay, I'm praying that he's being sarcastic. What happened to our Enigma? Where's our Enigma?
I think that he went and got to greener path. I'm just kidding. No, he usually leaves like around an hour or something.
Oh, after about an hour.
That's a normal thing for him now.
He used to leave it at about an hour. Oh,
yes, Chinese have some prejudices.
They do have a little prejudice.
Mm-hmm.
But,
it's because they're calling B words, that's why.
Mr. RANDtek, mind your mouth.
If you said that 50 years ago, everyone would be like, yeah! Now everyone is like, oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, but 50 years ago there was a Red Scare. 50 years ago.
How are you doing, Stephanie? It's nice to see you in chat. Come join our conversation. We're talking about eating dogs, apparently, now. I don't know why.
Stephanie. I like that.
Y'all ever know?
Hey, girl.
We have talked about stuff like that in the past, and we say don't do it at all. It's bad. It's going to mess up your brain. It's going to mess up your life. It's going to mess up your wallet. It's going to put you in jail. So don't ever do that, okay?
I've never heard a great outcome, unless they had to clean themselves up after they hit rock bottom, and then they became a counselor, and from there they counseled great.
Yes.
They counseled people, and
we have Mr. Dogman 1344 on here, and he is telling us about the festival in China
where
they eat dogs, and I think that's horrible. But
you are the only one, two, three here. That's right, cool Cass. You got the diamond. What does that diamond mean?
Yeah, and he's inviting us to take a trolley over there and stay in this hotel.
You're invited.
And
but
they'll mess you up, Mr. Propaganda Panda.
They'll talk about pound for pound that we really should be eating bugs instead of meat.
He did. Bugs. Hope you had a good New Year.
We did have a great New Year.
We got to do everything we wanted to do. We ate some nice oyster stew. Mm-hmm. Nothing else but oyster stew.
And a cherry tart.
Oh yeah.
Cherry tart.
You made a sick pie.
Ooh.
I like
pie that made you sick?
Yeah, I was vomiting all over the place. Come at me, Dogman.
Come at me. I'm a 1, 2, 3. You come at me. Dogman is a 1, 3, 4, 4.
1344.
A 1344.
What is the significance of that? Oh,
1 penny, huh? Thank you so much.
I see what you did there. That is against the rules, but that's okay because I know that's all in the sense of humor. But he did not donate, okay? I can verify that.
Don't underestimate the power of Kukas. That's
Pog.
right.
Who's the Pog?
I wonder where that 1, 2, 3 came from. 1, 2, 3, 4. As like a.
We really got a chat here going on, didn't we?
Yeah,
I'm proud of us.
with themselves.
Propaganda.
Propaganda. What are you doing, man? We don't like donations. We're not in this for the donations,
it's fake.
man.
It's fake.
Oh, it's fake. Oh, okay. Thank goodness.
I honestly don't know myself.
Yeah, you gotta Panda Propaganda. You gotta save your money. If you're gonna go on that trip to China with Dogman 1344.
If you want to make a real donation, though, it's down there. We are trying to raise money for pizza right now. We have raised no money for that.
Is that mustache looks familiar? Is that one? What was that thing in England that happened with the explosives? What was that man? They're I don't remember. You guys tell me.
Hey, Link. Oh, I can see that. I can see what you're doing there, Mr. Link. I can see. I know that you are quite an imposter. But, we like Good Mythical more. Actually, we haven't watched GMM in a while. But we used to like that show.
We did.
They did some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah,
Thank you for
did.
the follow, Brandon.
Guy Fox,
1029.
that's right. Guy Fox. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that. Guy Fox. Is that mustache, Panda Propaganda?
Oh,
is that a Guy Fox mustache?
Guy Fox. Oh, is that how you pronounce Fox? Like, I have a lot of trouble pronouncing stuff. Well, okay.
Am I an imposter?
I'm not sure.
I don't think Link would come to our channel.
I'm not sure that Link has 19 followers.
There's a guy there that has 50 followers. Let's go watch him. Yeah. No. I don't know. He has better things.
He tried to blow up Parliament.
Oh, that's what he did. That's what it did.
I'm unfamiliar.
Do they celebrate Guy Fawkes Day then? Or what do they do with that? Steffi.
Okay, so he tried to...
Give me my history lesson, girl.
It looks like he probably tried to blow up the English Parliament then.
What is this?
Should gay people be allowed to live? Well, they're not.
You want to answer that question for me? I'd like to know. You want to answer that for me?
Yes, they should be allowed to live, okay? Not going any deeper into it.
They don't have anything to the gene pool. Jeez, Panda, well, yeah, but they add to innovation.
If they're not doing anything wrong.
They add to innovation.
And
well, they don't propagate.
Just being a certain sexuality isn't doing anything wrong. We're not commenting on that at all.
And
but
then it's the basis of life propagation.
Brandon.
Hey, Brandon, 1029.
I don't know what happened, Casper. I think that we got a raid from some people.
I guess.
On 4chan or something. And now we have a bunch of... God said gays aren't allowed. Did he say that they aren't allowed, or did he say that...
Well, Sodom and Gomorrah, kinda... You're not raiding? You're here?
Oh, yeah, you came here, but I think that we got a raid from
But you were, in a way, trying to get people to come to China with you, so, I don't know. November 5th, Guy Fawkes Night, Bonfire Night in the UK, where there are bonfires and fireworks to remember what he had tried to do. But did he... So what was his point? I mean, he was trying to blow up Parliament for...
For protest? It looks like... Looking on... He was fighting for the Spanish, was a member of the group of provisional English Catholics who planned the failed gunpowder plot of 1605. He was born and educated in York, England. I guess that's where New York came from, right? I don't know. I'm not well versed in...
Oh, so you got rid of one side of your mustache now. Okay, I get you.
You did not cause any commotion, Mr. Dogman.
You just wanted to let us know that there was a festival in China that we could all attend.
You are seriously interested in that festival, aren't you?
Well,
you did not do anything wrong. Don't worry about it.
No, and I think that it was a good time was had by all. I just wonder. Yeah, we went from talking about the Casper, what was it called? not ethical.
Political science.
No, it was theoretical.
Oh,
Theoretical. Yeah, we
theoretical
went from talking
socialism.
about theoretical socialism to talking about a festival in China.
It's just kind of weird.
Santa! Oh,
Who's Santa?
Brandon, 1029. Santa's not coming for another 300 and...
I know.
How many days is it now? It's the second, so 7 minus 9 days. Oh man, we've got a long time to wait before Santa. Unless you're playing The Sims, then you can have Christmas anytime you want.
Anytime you want. It looks like.
Oh, can you have Christmas anytime you want in The
Oh,
Sims?
Nightbot timed out Brendan. Oh jeez. That's kind of crazy, Mr. Nightbot. I did not do that. That was the bot. Well, guys, I think that we've kind of run out of topics now. Drama? I know.
For Mama.
I would like to introduce you to one of
Brandon,
my favorite.
what did he do?
To one of my favorite streamers. He kind of thinks like us. He does not have the same opinions at all. But he thinks in a similar way. He keeps an open mind most of the time. His name is Barnacles or Jerry Berg.
Good morning, you.
You should follow him. You should check him out. He's an awesome guy. Make sure to donate some bits and say that you're from RANDtek also, because we are gonna raid him in a little bit.
I don't even know what that is. I'm not cool like that. And if you're thinking
you don't
that
watch
somebody
Twitch,
might be able to do that,
that's
then
fine.
Like me, as old as what I am, I have no clue. But anyway, yeah, we froze on a really
yeah,
bad.
and look at this. This is like all glitched out now. But shout out to all your Jews. I know that we had we had some other person here a while ago. I think it was actually Enigma that. Yeah.
Yeah.
we were you went from talking about favorite genre. None.
Oh, jeez, none. God, what kind of channel do you think this is, man? Okay, anyway.
You'll hear about that on Jerry's channel though, so make sure to check him out. I'm gonna raid him.
The freezing isn't all that bad. Well, thank you, Casper.
What is hentai?
But you're so sweet. I would expect that from you. I don't know. I don't even wanna ask him.
But hold on, let's see. Can we read like top chatters or things like that? Let's see, commands, custom, giveaways, logs. Hold on, okay. Do I have top chatters or anything like that? Let's see.
Look it up when your mom is gone. You see? I knew it was naughty. I told you. Let's not even ask him.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna look it up in front of her
and
the
teacher's
show you.
not in the room, man. Let's do something naughty.
Yeah, that's not good. It looks like we don't have any chat regulars, but thank you for the great stream, guys.
Hey, we did appreciate it.
We got a follower today.
We did.
A follower or two.
Who's following us?
Hold on, let me log on to Streamlabs quickly.
Hey, Coolcast, did you duke it out with Stephanie?
Make sure to catch us on Friday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. We live in the U.S., so make sure to check us out then. Awesome stream, guys. We had some pretty great conversations. I hope that you stick around. Keep your resolutions,
guys. Keep your resolutions, okay?
I'm gonna
keep them for at least a month before you forget that you made one. All right, please. A habit takes at least 30 days, so try for 1 month, please. We will have a good day. Hey.
Have a good decade. I know that you have a
decade.
Pornhub account. No, I do not. I do not. I do not at all. All right, guys. We'll catch you all later. Goodbye.
Bye.
Let's initiate the raid. We have 1 viewer now. To Barnacles, we have 3 viewers to Mr. Barnacles, 5 viewers, 6 viewers. Let's do this, guys. Jerry's gonna be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that RANDtek is raiding with like 6 viewers now. Oh gosh, are you ready to do this? What the heck? He is really looking it up.
Oh, he thought you were looking up what he wanted you to look up.
No, I was looking up Streamlabs.
He was not looking it up. He's a good boy.
All right. We will catch you all. We'll catch you all in the next one, guys. Thank you for the awesome stream.
Keep your resolutions.
Great afternoon.
Keep your resolutions.
Keep your resolutions. Stop watching that stuff, Mr.
Be careful of your words.
Panda propaganda.
Your words make your character, and your character makes your behavior. Okay?
All right, guys. Thank you. We'll catch you all in the next one.
All right. Bye, Coolcast.
Goodbye.
We'll see you Coolcast.